Hey, Jason,
Hey, hello.
do you have a copy of oh, hi, Carla.
Hello, Carla.
Do either of you have a copy that you could email me of the latest proposed survey?
Yes, I will.
I just want to be sure I'm looking at the latest one when we discuss it tonight.
I will send you the last link I received from Manny.
Thanks. Thank you.
Looking for it right now.
Hey, Kelly.
How you doing, Carla?
Hey, Jason. We're doing great.
Glad to hear it.
Did you go on vacation yet?
I am away. I am in Florida, but vacation will not start until my entire family arrives. So
Excellent. Family reunion?
well, a small one, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's my 98-year-old father-in-law. Yeah. And so I have to get everything ready for him so that he doesn't have to do stairs or, everything.
Understood.
Ready.
Good. Hopefully the weather's going to be great for you during your duration.
I think I hope so too.
Good.
But even it wouldn't even matter if it isn't, because he's just going to want to sit around and talk and visit with everyone. So both my kids are going to be with us, and Dave's brother and his wife. It's going to be
great. Good.
Full house, but
good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Are you on the East or on the West Coast?
I'm on the East Coast.
Okay.
I'm in Florida.
Excellent.
Yeah, my father-in-law he was a snowbird, and he used to winter in Siesta Key.
Okay.
So he just loves the Gulf. And so he had a COVID in January. It was hospitalized, scary. And he just really wants to see the Gulf of Mexico one more time.
Excellent.
I mean, he's made peace with, how old he is.
Understood.
Yeah. But he really wants to see the Gulf. So
he's almost there. He can taste it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great celebration.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're almost there. So we're almost there.
Hey, Tina.
Hello, Tina.
No, I'm just trying to get one kid out the door, and the others are coming home soon.
Okay.
Was there an agenda?
I didn't see it, but
I didn't see an agenda either. Hi, Tina.
Yeah. Hi, Jason.
I didn't see an agenda for sure.
So, hey, Kelly, is Sherry coming back this coming week, or?
I believe Monday.
Okay. Hey, Manny.
Hey.
Manny always seems so high tech.
I don't know. He's in the somewhere. Look at him. He's in like Mars, or the atmosphere, or the universe. He's got behind him.
It's like he's down at Cape Canaveral.
He's one of those engineers. Maybe an astronaut. What do you think, Manny? Which way would you rather go?
Astronaut would be pretty cool.
Okay, I agree.
Okay, let's see. Here we go. Okay.
Everyone's so quiet. What's going on?
I'm reading.
I'm looking at the survey, and I'm making just tiny edits. I guess we're waiting for Sally and Jeff, right?
Yeah.
So we're being recorded for our, heads up, but how is everybody?
Good.
Good.
The weather's been great. Well, not today, but
It's pretty amazing. It's already May, you know?
Oh, Sally says, I can see you, but you cannot see me. I wonder if, you
she
know,
probably clicked the viewer link. I don't know. That's probably what it is.
Sally's an attendee, so we got to transfer Sally, whoever has the controls, to a panelist. Because
Oh.
she's, I believe, Amerenik PTC. Is that Sally?
Or she can go into the other email that was sent from, because they sent us 2 links. One was, the first one they sent was the
Public.
public one, and then the second one we got right after that was the.
Let me just ask her if she can hear this conversation. I wonder, I mean, oh, there are no longer attendees, so I think she may have, oh, no, Amerenik PTC.
That's Sally, I think.
Yeah. Okay, if you unmute yourself.
Hello.
Oh, okay. Let me promote you, not just.
Oh my God, everyone's always wanted to be promoted.
I don't know why we can't see you. You know, Jeff showed up there too, so.
I know
I
Jeff's
think-
having issues too. I don't know why.
Yeah, because I think we clicked, like Tina said, we clicked the public link versus the private link.
I didn't get the private link. I only got the public link.
There
too.
it is, Jeff.
Hi.
Is it unique, the private link?
Yeah, I could send it. I'll forward it to you.
All right.
Sally, it does not seem that I can promote you, but you're here.
I am here. I like, you know, I'm so excited it's going to be promoted the first time ever in
You know,
15 years.
Let me disable talking and kick you back out, and then I'm gonna,
Yeah, I just sent you. I just forwarded the panels link.
Sally, you're promoted. Is everyone here?
There we go. There's me.
Bingo.
I'm going to rename myself.
My skills are just getting better by the day.
Aging like a fine wine.
There we go. I'm me. Sorry, I must just pull up my I must just pull up my we have a Zoom for PT Council, so it must just automatically pull that one up. Anyway, hello. And no, there is no agenda because Sally completely forgot because I'm a little bit swamped, so I apologize.
That's okay.
For those crazy people that don't know, I'm running for the school board. And my lord. And the question, I keep getting questionnaire after questionnaire from people about, can you fill this in and tell me why you're running? And that's all I seem to be doing at the moment. But anyway, so I apologize to everybody. But I think this is going to be quite a short meeting because I think one of the things that we need to decide upon is Robert came back and I think I responded, but no one else responded to Robert on the questions that he raised about, you know, putting in there, this is just a wish list of ideas as opposed to, you know, you're going to actually get it. So I think that was one thing he suggested. And the other thing he suggested was about Spanish and having it translated. And Jen Gonzalez in the village said that she would translate it for us if we wanted it translated. But I just needed to get back to her on that.
Excellent.
But I think that was really what that I think was the biggest, you know, I think by now we had hoped that the survey would have gone out, but it hasn't, because I think he's waiting for us to come back on those things.
He is, and I talked to him offline, and I think his concern, which I just want to run by all of you, because I at first I brushed it off, and then it sat with me and it started to bother me. I think he has a good point. So his point was, like, if you ask people if they want, for example, a rock climbing wall, and in fact that is not an option, right? Because I can't imagine that if we did some kind of bubble, there would be a high enough ceiling for a rock climbing wall, or, you know, then I think it doesn't make sense. Why would you ask it? Now, what I'm imagining we're going to get is because this is just the nature of things, but there is going to be pushback about this, and people are going to be screaming, why on earth are you asking this? You know, your budget is tight, we don't have money for this, and you're asking if I want a public rock. I mean, you know, it's just going to be, so what I'm trying, you know, it could be nasty. So I think what we need to try to head off is as much nastiness as we can by being very clear up front that here's what we're looking at. And so I was playing with the language a little bit, and I think it needs to be more than just a simple disclaimer like this is a wish list and there's no commitment. I think it needs to explain that what we're looking at doing is possibly converting, you know, one of the tennis courts, you know, we're looking into whether it's possible to make the hard court part of a bubbled facility, and using that court and possibly extra space to provide alternative winter recreation to tennis. For example, you know, a soccer playing field, an indoor basketball court, indoor volleyball, you know, but things that we actually are talking about putting there. And then, you know, and we can leave a line for other in case someone wants an indoor knitting club, but, you know, I would try to keep it to a limited number of choices to things where we're actually talking about, and then an other, because I fear that if we go too far, we're just going to get people squealing, what are you doing? What is this about? So I'm just trying to rein in expectations and make sure that the survey is realistic in terms of explaining what we're doing and trying to get input that will actually help us.
I agree with you. I think though, like, so then I almost feel like the name of the committee is misleading. The reason, like, and even not knowing actually what I was coming into when I came onto the committee, I imagined it as being, because it's year round, not just indoor. So that, I think that's where we were going with the survey as well. So if we want to focus on indoor things, I feel like it shouldn't be called year round.
That's an excellent point, but we can't change the name of the committee without board action. And so that just gets crazy. I do think
maybe can we rename, like, can we give the survey a different name or something like that so people understand? Because honestly, I didn't understand coming in that that's what it was going to be about.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's rename the survey somehow. What I'm thinking though is that year-round recreation, that would be something that would be, you know, sponsored by the village. Like, you know, should the village buy snowshoes and make snowshoeing in Harbor Island an activity, you know, that kind of thing, I think is more for the recreation department as opposed to this committee, which is really focused. It's like a spin-off of the tennis committee. And it's, you know, what are we going to do with the sport time agreement? And what are we going to do with the sport time, like that land? You know, we had looked at whether we could move it. It doesn't seem that that it's realistic to do that. So, I mean, that's how I think our understanding has evolved over the course of the last committee and then now this committee.
Can I ask a question kind of related to Tina's question? I mean, when I was writing the minutes from our last meeting, I actually really got to thinking about what Tina was saying about the turf field. Yeah. And for instance, you know, the possibility of a turf field over by Taylor's Lane, would that be under the remit of this committee to recommend something like that? Or are we just saying we're just going to focus, you know, on Harbor Island and somewhat the footprint of sport time today?
I would recommend that if you'd like to make a recommendation about Taylor's Lane, you know, you can, you know, or I would couch it as, you know, the committee feels like an indoor turf field or a turf field in general, that a turf field for field sports would be beneficial and used in the village. You know, some possible sites include, you know, and then list them. The issue with Taylor's Lane is it's just gotten approval to be used from the DEC, right? They had to cap it. Anything that would involve destroying the soil and to put in a turf field, I think is going to be a non-starter. Even using Taylor's Lane as a dog park got so much pushback from the people who live around Taylor's Lane because they just don't want the cars there. They don't, what we've heard from Taylor's Lane residents is we would like there to be walking paths among nature, right? So like very passive use, not. So, I mean, I think saying that you'd be interested in putting a turf field in different locations, and Taylor's Lane might be one of those locations. I'm just telling you there's instant pushback against that idea.
Okay.
But Kelly, no matter where you go, where you plant it, there's always going to be pushback.
That's why I say, go ahead and put it in. Say, you know,
right.
Yeah, that's why I say, go ahead and say.
That's a given, you know, anywhere, anything, it's always NIMBY, not my backyard. You know, put it elsewhere.
Yep.
You know, and that's the nature of the business. It's just like, sometimes you have to pull the trigger to accommodate a larger percentage of the community than a small sliver or segment.
And I think the way to do that is just the way you're going to get the Board of Trustees to pull that trigger is to make the case for how valued it would be in the broader community to have a turf field somewhere. And then, you know, the Board of Trustees can start looking and the different locations that you suggest.
Well, let's see what happens, because that Larchmont facility came out. I don't know if anybody saw it. I forwarded it to Jason.
That is so interesting.
Didn't see that. Can you send that to me? I didn't know about that.
Yeah, likewise. I didn't get it.
It's a private, it's not going to be run by the Village of Larchmont, though. It's going to be by the train station, I think. Well,
is it
or
on private land then?
I don't know.
The footprint is the parking lot for the train station. So it's
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Off of if you're entering there, taking that left off of Palmer, that's the footprint you can see on the website Tina's talking about. And of course, it got me thinking, you know, could we do something similar in Meredith? We got that great parking lot over there, you know, and they're saying they're even gonna like get more parking spaces, you know, when they put this thing in.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant. I really do.
Very smart business.
Maybe the parking lot across from the police station, because that is in terrible shape anyway.
That lot has to be rebuilt. It absolutely does.
Does the village own that?
Yeah.
Oh.
That would be a good spot.
And you've got nobody looking onto it either.
Right.
So you really won't have neighbors complaining because they're not looking at the structure. I mean, one of the things I was wondering is the one that they're building in Larchmont, who owns the car park that they're building on? Is it the village or is it the MTA?
My guess would be the MTA, because that's how the village is, the parking lot around the train in the village is the MTA.
So if it's MTA, I can't imagine they'd have to do the same thing that Sport Time we're talking about, which is handing it back to the village then.
Right.
And I wonder whether it's worth having a conversation with, what's her name, Manis, to find out how she was going to do it. I hear she's a phenomenally smart woman who sold her business. She's a PhD from somewhere. Anyway, so this is all sort of one Larchmont. You know, have you been to, you know, when you go Larchmont, you see all the, you know, the work there. It's sort of her work, and it may be worth a discussion. I mean, part of me was wondering when I saw that was, with us, it's going to be such a fight to do the bubbles, but would it be such a fight if you could find somebody who was willing to take that car park, rebuild the car park, and put stuff in there to make that your why, in effect, where Tina's suggesting?
I like it. I mean, and what I'm guessing that they're going to do is put the sports center, well, I mean, have one on top of the other, parking in the athletic center, right? So just stack them. And it's a great location that they have there. It's really.
I wonder if you could get Chase to give up part of their parking lot there. It's pretty underutilized.
There's a house in between, though.
Oh, there is? Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, it's 2 levels right now, and the building behind it goes higher than that. So I wonder if you could do 3 levels.
I don't know if it's big enough. Like
Well,
what?
if you had if you had 3 floors though, maybe.
Yeah, height wise, but this way, the width.
Yeah. Better than nothing.
Nothing. Hey, I'm with you. Any indoor space is better than what we have now. Oh yeah.
Well, again, that
Anything.
parking lot I'm thinking of down by the train station, right, kind of near the basketball court. That seems to be a pretty good size. And again, if you could not lose parking there and build on top of it, something like that, that's because that's what it seems like they're doing in Larchmont.
You do have some residences in that area though, some housing and just a large structure. I think there would be a lot of pushback on that.
Okay.
I think so
Wouldn't
too.
it?
Yeah.
But if you look, but if you look at they've got some pretty big structures there already. So if you take Columbus Park, for example, so you've got those lovely buildings down the side, the Avalon, etc., that look very nice and they're looking onto the park. What I think the trick would be is not to have a big slabby building, but to have one that actually looks very pretty. That is sort of, you could say, it's in keeping with the style of the others, but inside, you know, it's sort of. Have you been to Harrison? Have you been recently? And Harrison have done this. Harrison have done, you know, they've built this sort of car park which looks beautiful because of the cladding. You know that was beautiful. The cladding and it's how it looks as opposed to that may be more appealing.
I think putting that on the list of possible sites is a great idea.
Jeff, are you thinking of Columbus Park, the side near Pacones or the other side?
I'm not sure what.
You know where the
this is the
basketball
restaurant
court-
I've eaten there. No, the other side. The other
mean
side,
by
over
Mod-
by the
by-
right by the basketball court.
Yeah.
And
Manny,
actually,
that Columbus.
I'm sorry.
Manny, is that Columbus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the
Where-
restaurant he's talking about is called Modern on the Rails. And I think he's talking about, yeah.
The
so over
Jefferson
there.
side, right?
Where
Yeah.
the
Jefferson, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah, the Jefferson side.
Jefferson.
I kind of lean with Kelly. I think it's going to be a fight and a half to put anything there.
You know,
So when we redid the Columbus Park playground, we had wood chips there, and I got complaints. A pile of wood chips because the park guys were. I got multiple complaints from that area.
it won't go over well.
I mean, also in normal times, there's no, like, that parking lot is really needed for the train. So I don't know what, you know,
yeah,
it's
packed.
And
But-
Kelly,
But you might not lose any spots, right? I mean, again, that's what they're saying in Larchmont. They need those spots, obviously, and in fact, they're going to get more spots. And to Sally's point, they have pictures on the website of the the type of architecture that would be there. I guess they're trying to sell that it's going to fit in with the surroundings.
They actually used the Mason as one of the references. They took pictures of the Mason.
But I'll tell you, in the village, you have people who want to tear the Mason down. I mean, it's just, we are a different, we're a different residential body.
Well, in Harrison, the residents did not want all that they're building, and they're still building it.
Yeah. I mean, Carla's right. There's going to be resistance no matter where you say it, which is why I just think it's safe to just give a list of possible sites. And
well, you know what I mean, historically also, where 95 is, where they're putting tons and tons of dirt there now.
yeah,
That would have been, I mean, okay, but you have to take both sides where the dirt is going currently, put a facility there. And on the opposite side, that's where you could have put a parking lot so people can just walk underneath the bridge, run into the facility. Because it wouldn't be able to accommodate the cars and the bubble, we'll say, there. And so to remove all that dirt and as a possibility, now forget it. Because what was it? School in Rye. God, what school? Right, Country Day. they bought land or from the state because they were going to build a turf field across the street from their school on Boston Post Road. So kind of limited with space and land. I mean, there's not enough land. It brings us back.
Of space, Carlo, I don't know if this is necessarily this committee's job, but I think that re-looking at how Harbor Island fields are laid out, baseball field, everything, I think you would gain a lot, especially on Lanza, which has one baseball field and a soccer field. That is way too big of an area for that little bit. That should be multi-purpose. There should be probably another softball field on there and multiple soccer fields. But, you know, it would be a lot easier with turf. You know, it already has the lights. It's ideal for redesign. But, you know, we would need someone to come up with the idea of how that would be laid out and what are the impacts in terms of flooding, because the water levels, it's just right on the water, right? So the turf withstand a flood. I mean, the water comes up, you know, quite often. I'd say at least a couple times a year. So,
you know, I was going to mention flooding with the Columbus Park site too, because you've got, you know, river, and it would be difficult, if not impossible, to put a structure.
I mean, we always circle back. It always comes back to the harbor. That's where ultimately, I think it should be built for tennis and splash.
I also think, and I've been thinking about a lot, that if you just redo the tennis bubble and you keep it tennis, what about this idea that Claude said that you have a turf field and you put a physical bubble over it for the winter, and then you take the bubble off and it's an outdoor field again? He seemed to think like that was a possibility. Have like a full soccer field and just put a bubble over it or whatever. That's interesting.
It is
an interesting thought.
And I think, you know, he's talked about how the bubbles they're a different technology now and they're better looking. And I think, you know, I thought that was an interesting point as well.
So
don't they all come down in the summer anyway? The bubbles, even with tennis, or do they not do that anymore?
No,
they
but
do.
it comes down.
Comes down.
Yeah, they come down.
But like I'm picturing, so if you take Lanza Field, we all seen soccer played there. You take that footprint and they just throw a bubble over it. It had to be turf. Obviously, you couldn't bubble grass, but it would have to be turf. And you throw a bubble over it, and then literally you can take it down, and it's back to an open air turf field in the summer. Like you would never know there was a bubble there.
And if you had lights that would, you know, stay incorporated,
right,
year round, so you would have
they would incorporate it, right,
field year round.
Right. So in the summertime, you can turn, you know, you can have regular open space redesigned out there, 2 soccer fields, maybe 2 baseball fields, all lit at night. And then in the winter, you can just bubble 1 soccer field. And that way you can split it. You can do whatever you want. It's a thought. It's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a good multi-purpose idea.
And then the tennis stays tennis, right? Because if we want to keep our tennis courts, or that amount of tennis courts, I think it's going to be hard to keep all those 8 tennis courts and have a multi-sport in that current footprint. I think it's going to be really hard.
And I think Tina was right when she, you know, talked about how much money these turf fields make in the winter. I mean, I think it would be booked all the time.
All the time.
Oh, yeah. So being that the name of our committee is year round, could we continue this committee and have the sport time as phase 1? And I don't know, then do you keep the survey the way it is so that we know overall what people are looking for, and kind of tell them we're starting with the indoor tennis facility, and after we do that, we can move on to other areas or something like that?
I think absolutely you could do that. I think, you know, the question of whether the tennis courts, whether the community wants 8 tennis courts or 7 or 6, you know, that should probably be part of your recommendation.
Okay.
I'll
And,
just
and
say
really,
one more thing on the field idea covering it. I think it's just a brilliant idea because, as a tennis player who plays down there in the winter, we own the park and the parking lot. I mean, much of the time I'm there during the year, there's nobody else there. There's the tennis players who are there. And I was just down there this past week, and the softball people are back, and now it's buzzing, right? But we've got so much great parking space down there, and if we had a covered turf field, and we could utilize that parking space over the winter, and people would come, they have a place to park. It just sounds great, and it would generate revenue for the village.
I mean, it's really, imagine just having it open when kids are in school for our like seniors to just walk. Like, it would be really nice. It would be, yeah. Really, really nice.
Did you ever have any conversations with, oh, his name's got out of my mind, the guy who rebuilt the turf field at the high school? What's his name, Tina? Anyway, he was talking about putting, sorry?
I don't know who did that, but I remember
he's my neighbor. And
Matt, not Matt.
No, it will come to me. But he was talking about, I think he originally asked me, what about trying to put a track round, because the district doesn't have a regulation track, size track. And he was trying to put it around Flint, but then all the Flint people got upset about crazy stuff they were bringing up. But so that didn't happen. And so, he said to me, I wonder whether you can put a track around Harbour Island. And therefore, he paid, whether he would, Brian Martin, whether he would, help with the planning and even pay if you put a track in to cover a field.
Right. Yeah, because the stuff they just redid at the high school field was all donated by one person.
Yeah, that was him.
I don't know who it was, though. It was anonymous. But they also were talking about turfing where the baseball field is at the high school, which would be beneficial to soccer and lacrosse even. But I don't know whatever happened with that. But that really doesn't, it's not village property, it's the school, so.
I believe that gentleman called me during the tennis committee work, Sally, to talk about the possibility of this. And I said, right now we're just focused on the tennis, but I think it'll roll into something else. So he was very interested in that. It's just so smart. It's really smart.
Yeah, that would, and we have the space for it. There's not really anywhere else that has that much space.
And I think Jason's right, to have a place that seniors can walk in the winter, you could offer that. It's really nice.
Yeah, I think, depending on the Lanza field, I think is very intriguing to me in terms of a redesign. I think it's what we use it a lot now. Don't get me wrong. It's used by soccer and softball and baseball and bandstand and concerts and stuff, but it needs, if it was redesigned, it could be utilized a lot better. We can do more. We can have more fields. They all could be lit. We already have the lights there. That's a hard battle just getting lights in. We already have them there. Yeah, they need to be changed to LED, but that will be all part of it. And redesign it. People want the bandstand upgraded. We've been renting that a lot. That's part of it. What I mean? There's a lot that could be done out there. And then once you have turf, if we want to find somebody who would want to put a bubble in the winter, that would be even better. That would be great. And then tennis is tennis. But how realistic that is, I don't know. That's a lot of engineer stuff. And yeah.
That's why I'm hoping that when Jerry gets back, we can talk to him and talk to Frank, the building department, and maybe involve Amber, but just try to see what is feasible down there in terms of, can you expand it? Can you, or are you limited to just rebuilding what it is?
I guess going back to the original question, because I think we did sort of, I think get a little bit sidetracked with other ideas. So we have got this survey that was put together. Is the idea not to send it out? Would the idea be to clearly to shorten it, but do we still need that material? I'm sort of trying to work out what the next steps are to it.
I mean, I think if our plan is to continue and to look into other things once the issue of sports time settled, then the way the survey is might be helpful, as long as people understand that it's, for possible future expansion, not for anything anytime soon.
Yeah, we should probably relook at some of the items though, like the rock wall. I mean, yeah, it'd be great if we had a budget and we could build a field house, and yeah, you can do those things like my college had, but it's not. We should probably get a little realistic, because I think
it needs to be a little bit tighter. I think we need to take some things off and really only put things that we've discussed that could possibly go there onto the survey. Because right now it's like a wish list. There's like a ton of stuff, and if you give everybody those options, they're going to think it's going to happen.
So I would suggest that for this survey, we limit the conversation to we say that we're looking for information on what to do with the tennis courts, both the bubbled tennis courts and the hard court. That's what we're focused on. But say, based on the survey results and what people really want, I'm just thinking out loud, like, the committee's work may go forward, and we may try to provide, if there is enough community interest, additional field space and possibly additional year-round field space in other locations in the village. So right now I would put something in there that says, we're looking for your ideas about what you think would be valuable to the village residents.
Shouldn't you also incorporate the wording of like long-term?
Yes.
This is not going to happen overnight, but
Right.
a 5-year project or a 10-year project, or
right.
Just trying to get input for the future of Harbor Island, say, or whatever.
Yeah,
I think that makes a lot of sense.
And that way it kind of rolls in this idea that we could, ask the board to extend the committee's work and just continue it beyond, address the sport time issue, that piece of real estate immediately, because we do have that deadline. And then, but based on what the survey results show that the community really wants, look at additional space in the village and see if we can do it elsewhere. In the future, long term.
And the whole thing, for example, if that gentleman wants to do a running track or a walking track, we can do it at Taylor's Lane. I'm just maybe put that there, not the bubble, for obvious reasons, or
right.
Mini golf.
He won't go to Taylor's Lane because the kids walk. I think he was trying to find somewhere where the kids could walk there from the high school.
No, I understand.
Kids won't walk to the high school.
But I'm just saying, if Jason's talking about a walking track for the elderly, for the seniors, even whomever. Yeah. That maybe hey, you know what, we'll incorporate it. Maybe it's ideal for Taylor's Lane, or I don't know, Rushmore Avenue, or
right
the train station parking lot, or
let me tell you, Florence Park walking path is so used. Like, I'm so happy we redid that. That thing, people go there just to walk. Like, it's a quarter mile, like they know it, and like it's just really, there's something about a circular track that's meant for walking that people gravitate to. So
that's where my kids learned to ride a bike.
Yeah,
that's where we went. Started in that parking lot and then got around the circle.
Right, and young couples
used every day, all day,
and beloved.
Right, they're pushing their strollers, or rollerblading, but walking their dog, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Especially on a beautiful day. I mean, so if we can do something elsewhere, I think it's a no-brainer, personally, for a walking track or any other
Yeah, right. If you put a turf field, you put a walking track around, it just makes sense, right? Especially if it's not in the
Yeah.
harbor, if it's elsewhere, that would just be a common sense thing to do,
Yeah.
I think.
Talking about the older folks, I had one thought looking at that survey. I think it would be nice to capture age groupings because, we could then do stats on that to show, what the, different age group populations in our village are interested in. And we might get some interesting results in the younger versus the older.
I think that'd be nice. I do. To have
I
that.
mean,
part of me wonders whether the survey with some of the results, Jason, you could also use that from the rec department. If people sort of say, I'd like to find out more about, a softball league, or I didn't know we had you could use that as a marketing tool to get things out to people.
Absolutely,
well.
yeah. I don't know if everyone, we put a lot of stuff out there, but I don't know if everyone really knows what the village has to offer. Like, I don't know if people know that we have tennis courts in Warren Avenue and Florence Park. I don't know if a lot of people know that. So you make a good point.
Maybe that's, you have to put together some sort of marketing document that sort of says, how do you get a permit? Who can get a permit? What are the hours? Where the and actually put that out. It could go on the district's, not the district, the village website for sure.
Right, like we don't permit our tennis courts. They're just open to the public. You can go and use them. During the pandemic, we had issues with it though, because there was a lot of private lessons going on and stuff. But yes, I understand what you're saying. But just getting it out there so people know what our facilities are, because we do have some nice places, nice parks and playgrounds that I don't think everyone knows about.
well, most of them are for, neighborhood, Jason, but
Yeah, I know.
that, but on the website, you've got, say, got Warren Park basically has a tennis court, and you have it listed as that, it's got this, it's got that, all, it's
we do, but
right.
we do. We do list our amenities, but I think what Sally's trying to say is that, if people show an interest for a certain thing, like the recreation park, and take that information and use it to try to come up with an idea to satisfy that request.
Yeah. Well, but Kelly, my thought is that, we have Jerry, I know has been away, and we just need to start getting his input in July, because, he'll be working, catching up to, getting up to speed and so forth.
Yeah.
So, at some point he's got to join.
Yeah.
And, and start giving us some sort of guidance or direction, or,
100% agree.
Is there like a deadline for the committee to like provide guideline, like a recommendation, or it's just we go until, how does that work?
I don't remember. I think we made it a pretty long window when we formed the committee. And if we need an extension, we could get it easily.
Okay.
Can I ask a very strange question? What's the difference between us and the Recreation Committee?
The Recreation Committee is not focused on the sport time piece. That's the difference. This committee is really focused on, it's an outgrowth of the tennis committee. It's what do you do with sport time? Because, as you may remember, it was formed because the existence of the sport time agreement was in jeopardy.
So the bottom line is, go ahead.
I was just going to say the Recreation Committee also does they approve fee schedules, or we work on fee schedules. We talk about capital plans for our existing facilities. We approve special events, and we talk about special events and projects and presentations. A little different. The bubbles really isn't under the scope of the I don't think we ever really had a discussion about that, right? Tina and Carla, right? No, it's not something we talk about in terms of sport time.
Well, no.
And that's and the dog park came out. It was an idea that came out of the Recreation Committee too.
Right.
But But going back, Jason, many years ago, we spoke about a bubble at the harbor, turfed, because again, I used to have children who played lots of soccer and basketball. So we used to go to Mount Vernon in Ormond, to rent their place. So, but that went nowhere also. So there has been discussion historically. But again, it makes a ton of money it would make.
How do we move this forward?
I was going to suggest that we redo the survey, right? I just think Robert's, I really don't mean to piss on it. I really don't, because I think we're really just trying to think this through and work it through as we go, and not have pushback from the community based on a misunderstanding. And I think the scope of this committee's work and the focus of it has been intentionally left very broad, because we didn't know whether it was, could we do what Sport Time's original plan had been, put a big multi-sport facility behind the water treatment center. Seems like probably not, that seems to be not an option anymore. So next we need to see, well, what can they do there? We need to talk to Jerry, and we need to get maybe some engineering help, but certainly the building department's help. What are the obstacles? Are there no obstacles? Like what can be done? But then I think the question of, well, if you really want a turf field, well, do you make that part of the Sport Time footprint? Do you put it somewhere else? Do you try to expand the Sport Time? Like what do you do? And I think it's just helpful for the Board of Trustees to have this committee think these things through, get as much community input as you can get, and then come with some recommendations. Because the Board of Trustees can't just, we would never do this. We would just never spend the time like thinking this through and trying to figure out what would be best. That's why we have committees, like to get a broader public participation and input from people who are interested in it. And then I think from this survey, getting, as much of the public participating as we can. So I think redoing the survey at this point makes sense. I'm happy to look at it and try to just put some language together and send it around. Manny, this file that you sent, can I just edit it and then share it again?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just technologically so stupid.
No, it's fine.
So I could just type on it and then click the share button and everybody gets it?
Oh, you click share and then you're gonna have to type in our emails.
That's fine. I can do that.
Yeah, and then and then you can just share it right with us again.
All right. Why don't I try to work on that by the end of, today and tomorrow, and share it. And you guys are welcome to work on it and share it. I just think, does that make sense, Sally?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I think once we've got it set, we can ask Jen if she'd translate it for us.
Yeah.
I think we need to be inclusive because, in the population.
Yep.
And then I guess we have to get a date for Jerry to, when he gets back, to come back and, bring him up to speed on things.
Yeah.
And if he's back, May 1st, but we talked about bringing him in June, didn't we?
I think we did. Yeah, I planned on emailing him after he returns, because right now his email just goes to Dan Sarnoff. So I think he's supposed to come back Monday, which is the 3rd, right? Monday's the 3rd. So I'll email him next week and ask when he might be available to come to one of our meetings. I think we had talked about, so when were we thinking? We were thinking of meeting on the 20th.
And that's when we thought we would get him to come, wasn't it?
Yeah, I have a note on my calendar with Jerry and building department ? So next week I can email Jerry and ask if he and Frank might be available on the 20th. If that still makes sense to everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then I think if we try to get the survey out as soon as possible, but just like take a breath and just try to get it right, given how we've evolved. And my apologies for how this is evolving. I mean, I just think it's the nature of the beast.
What
No,
do we do?
I think it's great. You
Good.
know, we want to hurry it up, but we want it to be right and make people happy, not make people upset. So,
Right.
What do we do about the sport time piece?
You know, I think the committee may want to recommend a 1-year renewal. I mean, I know Nora has already mentioned that, you know, it seems that given COVID, there was just, no one could really function the way we intended or planned. So I think, you know, a 1-year extension makes sense.
I don't know if they, I mean, I'm not sure that they would, you know, potentially viably go for 1 year. And I don't know if we'd get our work done in 1 year.
I think that's possible too.
Only because I sort of think sometimes we sort of say,
I know.
we'll get it done. And then
Yeah.
it's a year's gone.
So I think then perhaps the committee would recommend a 2-year extension, you know, and explain that by saying you lost a year to COVID, and that I don't think it makes sense to seek that kind of extent, to seek any extension before talking to Jerry and the building department, understanding the complexities. But I think we're going to learn that it's highly complex, and that that may justify a longer extension.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they did just make some significant improvements, so that kind of helps support the case to extend that, I think.
Yeah, they just did the lighting, redid the lighting.
Actually, the courts are much better. I've been playing recently with people who are just returning to them for the very first time since they redid some stuff, and they're pointing out, wow, these courts are a lot better than they used to be.
Oh, good.
They're just less slippery. They made improvements to the surface.
Until the rain comes.
Yeah, we'll see what damage. That's a good point. Until the bubble comes down.
The bubble comes down, I think, in the 20th or something that week, depending on the rain, because they need a week of dryness to be able to take it down. Okay, so that would be great. So before we jump off, did everybody get a chance to read Jeff's amazing minutes?
A++.
Isn't he amazing? I mean,
it's incredible.
Jeff and Sally they're just incredible. You are all incredible, but Jeff and Sally have been doing this since the tennis committee days, and I just cannot believe the details.
Really. Yeah, no, Jeff is incredibly thorough. And I just go on his tails, thank goodness. So is there on that basis, if there's no changes or anybody wants anything added, can I make a motion to approve the minutes for April 8th and 14th? Can I get a proposer? Or I propose it, can I get what's the right way of saying it?
Second.
Second. I propose it, you second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
It's unanimous.
Looks confused.
I can't vote.
Manny looks confused.
I said, oh, can you hear?
He's in space. He's in space.
You're
near Mars.
Getting
You've
of
gone to
our
Mars.
I heard him say aye.
Yeah, I said aye.
I don't think any of our minutes have been posted yet, so I'll just take the whole lot of them and send them over. So hopefully they can get posted to the village website.
Thank you. To send them to Sally and to Robert, Sally Roberts and to Robert. Yeah.
Okay, I'll do
I
that.
want to confuse everybody by having too many Roberts.
and Sally.
And Sally's. I know we always call each other the other Sally. All right. Well, I think that if everybody's happy with that, then we look forward to meeting again on the 20th at 5. And Kelly, you'll shoot that round, and then when everyone's comfortable, I'll ask Jen to translate it for us, and then we can pass it back to Robert. Do we want to go through you, Jason, or do we just send it to Robert and copy you?
You can do whatever make you feel comfortable.
Okay. All right.
All
Perfect. Right. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason, for popping in.
You're welcome. Absolutely.
Okay.
Everyone stay well. Kelly, enjoy your vacation time down there.
Thank you.
Great weather also.
Thank you. Okay.
All
Bye-bye.
right.
Well, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.